Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today's the update for pan those eyeshadows. Everything I don't know what I was going to say. Everything you need to know is linked down below. This year, or I was going to say this year, but I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. I've been using the prompt list that Makeup with Laney made. She's also linked down below, as well as that list of prompts. And I'm trying to hit pan in an eyeshadow for every prompt that is in that list. We're halfway through that list, a little over halfway. It's getting more and more difficult, honestly, to find nice shadows to work for those prompts, but we're getting there. I have one today that I don't like it. I don't want to say I hate it, but I do. I hate it. So that one is gonna get replaced, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm gonna show you the shadows that I have been working on, and then at the end we'll roll some new. So the first one, and this has been in for 2 months, comes from my Alice in Wonderland Matte Hatter palette. This is by Beauty Bay, and I rolled in a shade for the Prompt Blue Shadow Matte. And I rolled in this shadow right here. So last time I used it 11 times, and it took me 10 more uses to hit this tiny baby pan. And I stopped using it after that. I did really enjoy the shadow as a lower lash line color, paired with my ColourPop Prance eyeliner. This was a little bit more true blue than that Prance color. That's more of a periwinkle. I couldn't come up with that word last time when I was just describing that eyeliner, but anyway, I've been wearing it on my lower lash line a couple of times, and I did some looks where I also put it on the lid and put a shimmer over top, but I finally have pan after 21 uses. So this one is rolling out, and then the rest are shadows that all rolled in last update. The first was for the prompt starts with B. I rolled in my ColourPop Lizzie McGuire palette, and I'm working on the shade Bye Bye, and that is right here. You can see there's quite a dip already. I've just been using this as an inner corner highlight, so I'm using a small brush and I'm like dipping down into the shadow. They are quite deep, but I think by next month I can have a pan. Then the next prompt was starts with I, and I rolled in a shadow for my Makeup Beauty Shop Serpent palette, and this one took me 2 uses to hit pan in. This is the shadow. There is the pan. I hope you can see that. It looks a lot like the shadow, but there's definitely a pan. The shadow had some previous use, and it's a very soft formula, so it was very easy to hit pan on. Did not expect it to be that easy, but again, it's fine. This one is rolling out. And then there's my my arch nemesis. I don't know, that's very dramatic, but a shadow that starts with V. I rolled in my Zoeva Blanc Fusion palette, and I decided to work on the shade Visions of Gold, which is the yellow gold. Now this shadow, I don't know if you can tell by just looking at it, it just has some like hard pan going on, and this texture it's like a brick. That's what it feels like when I dip my brush into it. I have to like scratch it on the surface. This is the shadow, and it performs okay, but it just feels so, I don't know, it just doesn't feel okay. And I don't like the fact that I have to scratch my brush into this to get a little bit of color payoff. And then also, it's supposed to be a shimmer, but it doesn't look the part. I don't like it. That's the conclusion. I'm gonna wipe it off my hand, and I'm definitely gonna replace this shadow because I'm not going to use it again for another month. And then it's going to roll out. So I just better roll something in right now that I might like working on a little bit more. I don't have a lot of options for starts with V. There's some shadows that are going to take some time to hit pan in, so I best just replace this one now to give myself some time to work on hitting pan in a new shadow that starts with V. So this one is going to leave, the prompt is going to stay in, and I'm going to introduce the new shadow in just a second. But first, the other two shadows that I still have in, one was for the prompt, a shadow from a monochromatic palette, and I rolled in my Honey palette, which is an all yellow palette. I'm going to hold it upside down, and I am working on the shade Sunburst, which is right here. There's some disturbance starting to form. I wouldn't call it a dip per se. I have used this 9 times, and this I did pair with that yellow from Zoeva a couple of times because that just wasn't cutting it for me, and putting this over made it a little bit better. So 9 times, it's gonna take a while for me to hit pan in this, but it's okay. I love yellows, so I think I'll be fine. I don't think I mentioned how many times I've used the other shadows, did I? So the shadow from the Lizzie McGuire palette, I used 14 times so far. And that Visions of Gold shadow that I do not like, I used 4 times. So there's that. And then the last shadow I rolled in was for the prompt Most Expensive Shadow. I wasn't really sure what my most expensive shadow was, but I've rolled in my Give Me Glow Summer Vibes palette because I think this as a palette was the most expensive. And I rolled in the shade Fireworks, which is an orange to yellowy gold shimmer. It's right there. You can see some disturbance. I've used this 6 times over the last month. So these pans are quite deep. It is not my most favorite shadow because it does have a lot of that gold yellow reflect to it. I wish it was a little bit more peachy orange, but when it's on the lid, it almost looks completely yellow. So that kind of threw me off when I used it, but it's fine. It's a nice shadow, and nonetheless, it's gonna take some time before I have a pan on this because these pans are quite deep, but we shall see. It's staying in for now. So we have 2 rollouts that I'm gonna randomize new shadows for, and then one to replace the stupid gold shadow. And I had to look through my collection for a shadow that starts with V, and I think this is my best option. It's not a good option, I do have to say that, but it's the best. And it comes from my ColourPop Miss Bliss palette. There is a shadow in here called Vibrant Thing, and that is the shadow right here. So I have used this a little bit. It is one of those satin shadows, so a matte with like glitter particles in it, which I don't like those as much. Honestly, I would have preferred just another matte or like regular shimmer in this palette instead of a satin, but that's what I have, and I do like the color of this, so I'm thinking I have a shot at hitting pan. So that is the first new roll in. And now we're going to randomize 2 new prompts. I've already taken out the prompts of the completed shadows. There was a hair tickling my arm. So we have, how many do we have left? Can I see that anywhere? 40. Okay, so we have 40 prompts left out of the 100 that we started with. So that's good. And now I get an ad. I don't want to play this game. Please let me skip this. Thank you. Okay, so 2 new prompts for this project. And we're getting Shadow from your least favorite palette. Oh no. Oh no! And then Pan Graveyard. So if I'm correct, that is a shadow that I previously tried to hit pan in, but I failed. So I'm gonna have to think, because least favorite palette, I did declutter some just recently, so I'm gonna have to kind of check what will be my least favorite palette right now, and what will be a shadow that I've tried to hit pan on but failed at. If I find them, I will be back. I did it. I found the shadows. Was it difficult? No, it wasn't that difficult. Is it gonna be difficult to hit pan? Probably on some of them. I will show you my swatches at the end. First, shadow for my least favorite palette. Oh, this was difficult because I don't know what my least favorite palette is. I have a couple that I don't love as much, but I picked the Beauty Bay Love Notes palette. This color story just isn't really my color story. Don't really know why I have this palette in my collection, and I want to show it some more love. Honestly, this has been on my mind to do as a pan that palette, like try to hit pan in all the shadows and then possibly declutter it. I don't know, I've just been thinking about this palette, so it felt right to roll it in for this prompt. And I'm gonna roll in the shade Bellini, and Bellini is this pink shimmer right here. Of course I opted for a shimmer because that's the easy way out. And honestly, I was thinking about another Beauty Bay palette, and then I had an orange shimmer, and I wasn't feeling the orange again because I've been working on a lot of orange and yellow, and so I decided to throw a pink into the mix because for the prompt Pan Graveyard, that's something that I tried to hit pan on and did not do. I'm gonna bring in a yellow. Are we ever gonna escape the pink, yellow, orange color story? I don't know. But I'm bringing back my Juvia's Place Zulu palette. This was in a couple rounds ago for, I think, Shadow I Want to Pan or something favorite. I'm not really sure. But I'm bringing back the yellow matte shadow. You can see there is a slight dip, but I have quite a ways to go. I'm gonna try and hit pan this time. I have to hit pan this time. Come on. I can do it. So that's coming back, and that means that my color story kind of matches my shirt. It's very summery again. So we have some oranges, some pinks, and some yellows, which I love my oranges and yellows, and also some pinks when I can mix them with oranges and yellows. I don't know how long this love is gonna last for this color story, but that's just something for the future. So we have here Colourpop Bye Bye from the Lizzie McGuire palette. This is the shade that I'm replacing that gold shade with. This is Vibrant Thing from Colourpop. Then here we have Sunburst from the Colourpop Honey palette, Fireworks from Give Me Glow, and then this is the matte yellow from the Zulu palette, and here is the pink shimmer from the Beauty Bay Love Notes palette. So this is the color story, which honestly I am very happy looking at this color story. I love my summer colors, as you can probably tell. Again, don't know how long this love is gonna last, if I'm gonna be bored quickly, but I'm gonna try and hit some pans along the way. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.